Hey everyone, Leo with Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our Mother's Day floral gift box. This one is lovely because your machine's going to do most of the work. It's kind of like a little puzzle, which is also fun. And well, we're just going to hop right into it. So I kind of just did some of this stuff off screen I like to do a dry run of things before I actually film, so that, you know, I'm giving you the right steps. But what we're going to do is we're going to start off. You're going to have one sheet that cuts out like this. It almost looks like a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. It is in fact 8 by 10. And then you have this piece. This is our little puzzle piece, but it's also going to act as a decorative piece too, because a lot of this gold foil is going to show through. And we're going to take this and glue it onto this piece right here directly. So let's flip this over and just kind of go easy on the glue here. You don't want to overdo it. Sometimes if you cake on the glue on a foil like this, it tends to kind of warp it a little bit. So we want to be kind of sparse and thin with the glue. Okay, and we're kind of put together a little puzzle first. And then there's going to be some overlays and additional overlays. So you really want to focus here and just follow along with me step by step, just to make sure that you don't miss anything. Okay, because once you miss it, it's going to be no going back. Okay, and we may need to go in and do a little bit of additional cleanup on this. You can see, yeah, that glue kind of warps it a little bit. It happens, but it'll be okay. All right, so line that up as accurately as you can. We'll flip it over. And one thing you can do to kind of counteract that is just use a brayer to spread that glue out. Okay. There we go. And that definitely helps. Okay, so got those two pieces in place, and what we're going to do is we're going to begin just kind of piecing some things in place. So you can see some of this stuff just like naturally will fall into place, and we can just begin applying some glue onto this piece, and we'll pop that right in there. Should fit like a little puzzle. Okay. So next we're going to get this one in place, and again, don't worry too much about covering every inch of this. There's going to be another layer on top of this, sandwiching these sections down. So we just more or less just need a little bit of glue to hold the petals in place and just keep this thing just from moving around. Okay, next we're going to pop that one in place. And I think because of the bold colors with the contrast of white, I don't even know if you need to ink this piece, because it's going to look, you know, the contrast on it's going to be pretty amazing, pretty intense, I guess you could say. And again, I don't know if you really need to ink this one. So I think I might just omit that and just not ink this one. Okay, so again, you can see where all these go. Pretty straightforward, just like that. Okay. And there's some pieces that are going to just kind of remain, like there's nothing, we're not going to put anything on that just yet. That's going to happen in another layer. Or actually, yeah. Anyway, this one's a little, it's hard to remember everything on this one. So just follow along with me and then you'll be fine. Okay, then we've got this little guy here. He needs to just get glued down. Okay, again, not overly concerned about getting ink on every single inch of this, because it's more or less just little puzzle pieces that just need to stay in place. And we're gonna have layers on top of it, keeping it from really moving around. Okay, so there we go. There's that, and that's it for this layer. Okay, so next, what we want to do is we're going to take this next layer. And we're going to start finally kind of seeing things appear here. And this is going to get glued down like so. Get something on there. A little bit of glue or something. Okay, this is going to go on next, like so. And we just need to make sure that when we glue this down, that we get it lined up as accurately as possible. Now, because of the fact that it has so many details, I'm going to use this little method that I've used in the past when working with little shadow boxes. And we're going to apply glue just to the top third of this. Okay, so nice and easy, don't overdo it on the glue, to about here. Okay, and just apply your glue. And then here I just do little dots. I'm going to hit this with my finger to thin it out in case I get too much in any little area. And do your best to cover as much of the surface as you can without losing your mind, because there's no way you're going to get it all. Okay, and then any areas where you might have gotten too much glue, just hit that with your finger. Okay, I'm looking at the rose here in the center, and I'm using that as my initial guide for placement. So I want to make sure that all those little details match up as accurately as possible. And then just make sure that it is in fact flush with the perimeter, and press down in those areas where we applied our glue. Okay, just like that. And now, because we have that top section lined up, the bottom section will automatically fall into place. Okay, but what we need to do is we need to fold this back. I'm going to do it like this, and I'm going to apply my glue while this thing's on my surface. I'm going to do the perimeter first, go a little bit thicker. Okay, and then just start hitting the rest of this with little dots. Try to get in as many areas as you can. This would be for those of you that use spray adhesive. If you do use spray adhesive, make sure that you have the repositionable type, because you really have to make sure that you get this aligned as accurately as possible. And if you don't, you're not gonna fare well here. Okay, just do little dots here and there. Try to get coverage in as many little spots as you can. And we can always go in, and I think we can maybe clean up some of the areas that maybe don't have enough glue. Okay, just like that. And now you can see that since we got that top part already lined up, this part will magically just fall into place. Just press that down. Okay, wonderful. Not a lot of mess either, so that's good. Okay, and now here is where we're going to do kind of another layer of puzzling. If you have, everybody has some, but if you need to clean up any areas that maybe aren't sitting completely flat, like I just noticed here, I could use a little extra glue there. So I'm going to take a scrap piece of paper, just throw a nice thin layer of glue on there, tuck it right in between, and just paint right to the underside of this layer right here, where I can tell it just wasn't sitting completely flat. Okay, I'm going to hold that down for a second. Wonderful. Okay, and I think right here maybe I didn't get enough glue there. I'll hit that with a little extra. Just make sure the perimeter is sitting flat. That's really the ultimate thing that you need to do here. Okay. All right, so now as we continue kind of putting these little puzzle pieces in, you can see we have these little rectangles here. Let's go ahead and pop that right in there. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with this piece here. There we go. And next, we've got a few more little sections that we just need to glue down. So as I'm going through here, just find the pieces that I'm putting into place and just follow along. Okay, so that one's going to go there. We have this little piece that kind of looks like cheese. And that one's going to go there. Okay, and then this guy's going here. Like that. And I've got one more. It's going right there. There we go. Okay, and a few more little guys here. I've got this little circle. It's going to go in the center of this flower. So it's really just a paper piecing project for the most part right now that is going to create a very delightful end result with very minimal work. Okay, and I think the last little piece here is going to go right there. There we go. Okay. The rest of the pieces are going to be overlays. Actually, we have two more, these little tiny circles. We've got one little guy here. It's going to go right there. Just a little dot of glue will do. I'll just pop that right into place. And then one more right here. And we almost forgot this one little piece here. Just throw a little bit of glue right in the center of that. And we have a little yellow piece that goes right there. Okay, so our puzzle is mostly put together. This is as much as we need to do for now. We can put this off to the side and let's just begin constructing the the actual storage portion of our box. It's very simple, just a simple box. Okay, and what we're going to do is take a look at these pieces here, and you'll notice that they're numbered. And we have 1 through 4. You'll see that it's Roman numerals until you get to the 4. The 4 is 4 dashes in the shape of a square or a circle, whatever you want to call it. Okay, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's begin by simply applying glue to tab number 1. Okay, nice and easy. And we'll spread that glue out to the very edge. Okay, and take piece number 2 and line that up. Make sure that the horizontal lines here kind of connect and they touch. Press that down. You can take this then and fold it over onto itself. And you'll notice these tabs should also be flush here, especially this corner piece there. If that lines up perfectly, you know you've got it spot on. Oops, that's okay. Okay, so 1 and 2 are connected. So now we're going to need piece 3, which means that we need to apply glue to tab number 2. Just like that. Okay. And pop that into place like that. There we go. All right, so 1, 2, and 3 are all connected. So now let's go over here and apply glue to tab number 3. And spread that out nice and even all the way to the edge. And then grab piece number 4. Let's line that up and press that into place. Just like that. Okay. And you can kind of fold that onto itself. It's a good size box. I think you'll probably, I guess depending on how you fold it, can probably fit a shirt in here, I'd say. Okay, so actually while we have this open, I'm gonna take and I'm gonna glue these down. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of glue here. The most important thing is just to make sure that we get glue out to the edge here. Okay, you don't really have to spread it all the way out like I just did, but I like that. I just like how it looks. It'll be nice and flush there at the bottom. Okay, and that's just this little section here is just to kind of reinforce the edge to make the box nice and sturdy. Okay, so we'll just do a little pigtail design here with a nice thicker line of glue towards the top, and go like that. Okay, now we'll do these, let me see if we can actually do these now. I can't do this one yet. We can do this one though. So again, a little curly Q there. And a little guy there. You don't have to get every single inch of it covered there at the top, but just get enough. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and close this up now. And you can kind of lay it down like this, grab the other end, and that should just go on like that. Since this is symmetrical, you can absolutely just lay it down and it should match up perfectly. It might be a little bit off because we are human. We're not robots, even though the robots are trying to take over. Okay, so just grab that other end, lay it down, line it up, press it down. It should lie flat, and it does. It means we did a good job. Good job. Okay, and then finally, a little curly Q there. And just like we did the first 3 times, a little bit of a thicker line there at the top. Just bring that out to the edge. There we go. And fold that in, press it down. Nice and sturdy. That's what we're aiming for. It's a good gift box. Okay, there we go. All right, so now we've got the bottom, and we've got these 2 pieces here. Okay, you'll notice that one of these should, where is it? There it is. Has a little L for liner. Put that off to the side. We'll use that in just a moment. This is going to be the bottom. We want to take this piece and glue it to the bottom. We need to anchor this piece first. So let's start by just applying glue to 1 tab only. Okay. And let's spread that glue down all the way to the very edge, make it nice and seamless. There we go. Okay. And get that nice and centered. Nice and flush to the very edge. Beautiful. Okay, now we can flip this down and press down on the rest of the tab just to make sure it's making good contact. And give that a few seconds to set. A good size gift box. We're always looking for a big gift box. Now we've got one, and it's very pretty. Okay, so that's anchored. Now we're just going to close this up, and we do need to apply glue to the remaining 3 sides. Now, since this is a lot of surface area, I'm going to go a little bit heavier with the glue here so that it doesn't completely dry on me before I get done with the last tab. So I'm laying it on pretty thick, and then of course I'm going to spread this out with my finger, get it out to the edge like so. There we go. Try to work expeditiously, and I can feel the consistency of that right there, and I feel like it may not be enough. I might have to go back in and fix that, but that's okay. All right, so try to get it nice and squared. Focus on getting it aligned with this side first, centered and out to the edge. Perfect, just like that. These 2 sides should kind of naturally fall into place. Get them down, make sure that the seam looks nice and clean all the way around, and then flip her over, press down on the rest of the tabs. There we go, beautiful. Doing good here, Leo. Hope you guys are doing better or just as well as I am. Take a look at the seam all the way around. If you have a gap, that's okay. I'll show you how to fix that here in just a second. Grab yourself I always have a box of scrap paper like this, especially for situations like this. I'll just put a little bit of glue right on the very edge of that, and you can see a nice little gap there. You just take and pop it right in between those two layers and just press up a little bit. Paint some of that glue right into that section. Press down and hold, and that will look nice and seamless for us. And you can go ahead and repeat that around the box if you have any other layers or any other sections like that where there's maybe a little bit of a gap. So I'm just going to go around and take my time, clean this up, make sure all my edges are nice and crisp. There we go. That's very typical when you're working with a lot of surface area, and I could tell based on the consistency of the glue when I was spreading it out that certain areas were just not going to hold. And that was a result of, that's just a result of not having enough glue in that little area. It would have been fine, but you know, this glue starts to, that's why they call it quick dry. It really starts to set pretty quick. And that's a good thing, but sometimes it is not such a good thing. And at the same time, I don't want to overdo it with the glue because it's wet, and you know what happens when you throw water on paper? It warps it. So just have to do a little cleanup here and there, and that's all part of it. No way around it. Okay. And I'm happy with that. That looks great. Okay, so now on the inside here, remember this little piece that I mentioned that has a little L on it? Let's take and apply some glue around the perimeter. And just a little bit in the center. Pop that in there. That finishes it off nicely. Hides all the tabs. Reinforces it as well. Nice solid gift box. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. All right, so getting kind of close here, almost on the last leg of things. Let's put that off to the side for just a moment. And we can start actually putting together the main part of this. Now I do have, there are some panels that are going to go on this piece here. There's one large one that's going to go on the back. I'm still deciding if I should ink this or not. I think I might hit it with a little bit of some turquoise maybe, just to give it a little bit of ink. It might be too blue for my liking. I need to add a little bit of green to that, I think. Let's see here. That might look better. So I have an actual blog post on the website where I discuss the inking that I do. It's not anything spectacular. It's not anything special. I'm literally just using my little felt applicator here. And what I like to do is just kind of hit the surface as well as the edge. And really it's just kind of a muscle memory sort of thing. A repetitive hand gesture, if you will. And there's other ways of inking things, obviously. Like when I do some flowers, we kind of ink from the inside instead of from the outside in. And that kind of gives you a little bit of a different look. But for the most part, this is my go-to applicator. It's consistent. It gives me a very even distribution. Also, it's not too heavy. Now, there's a lot of different variables when it comes to inking. if you've got a brand new set of inks, obviously when you press down on them, it's going to pick up a lot more ink, which means that it will appear heavier on your paper. So sometimes when I get a fresh one, I'll dab it, and if it's like literally bleeding through, I'll kind of rub some of it off. But this is my typical sort of process with inking. And what I wanted to do here with this, I didn't need to ink it too much. What I'm trying to do is kind of create a little bit of a transition from this pattern to the white, instead of it being so such a stark sort of contrast. I want it to be a little more gradual, and that's what the ink is going to do. It's going to make it a little bit softer on the edge so that it blends into the white a little bit better. Okay. And there's a lot of people that are always like, well, I'm just afraid to ink. I don't know if I can do it. Well, I tell you what, I always say, get yourself a beginner set of ink pads. I think some of these Memento ones come in a set of 4. Grab some scrap paper and just practice. You know, you don't have to, I mean, even if you are working on a project and let's say you're inking a flower, if you mess up, quote unquote, or if you don't like how it looks, well, you don't have to glue it to your project. Just cut out another one and go back to having it not inked, or try again until you get it right. I think art is a lot of observation. Just being observant about what you're doing and what is causing you to achieve your end result. Okay, so that looks nice. You can see how, whoa, just flew off the table. You can see how that kind of softens it up a little bit. You may not be able to see it on camera, but I'm seeing it. Okay, so let's get these panels glued in place. Okay. Nice and easy. This paper is a little bit lighter than I'm used to. It's kind of it's a little flimsier. Okay, so this panel is going to go right here on the side, and just make sure that you maintain a nice even border all the way around. And press that down into place. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, we got the large panel. It's going to go right here. So let's get that one glued down. Just make sure you're getting that glue out to the perimeter. I'm going to do that first. There we go. Okay, and again, nice even border here. And there we go. Okay. Perfect. All right, flip that over, press down again. Just make sure it's all making good contact. Check the ends, or the edges, I should say. Make sure nothing is sticking up. And it's not, so that's good. Now we'll grab the other half of this. It's a good idea to put your caps on your ink when you're done inking, just in case, so you don't. I've done that many times where I've had a piece of paper and I set it down right on an ink pad. And luckily, most times I was spared from having to recut things, but it's happened, so just be careful. Okay, the last little piece here as far as the panels go, and then we're going to actually put this thing together and then glue it down onto our little puzzle thing that we put together with all the different colors on our flowers. Okay, so this is it's a little different. It's what I've been trying to do a lot of lately, is just give you some new things, some new challenges. Okay, and just hope that you love the end result. Okay, So next we need to join these two sections together like this. Okay, right here at this tab. So let's get our glue going onto this tab. We'll go a little bit heavier, not too much though. I'm going to spread that glue out all the way to the very, very edge. Okay, I'll put that down flat on my surface. Grab the other half of this, and we're going to get that lined up as accurately as possible. There we go, just like that. And press that down. Okay, now we're not going to connect this just yet because, I'll fold that over this way, just make sure it's nice and aligned, because we're actually going to now take and glue this down to this piece. Okay, so similar to what we did with this piece, how we kind of did just the top third, we're gonna do the same thing with this, because I think it's gonna make it a lot easier. So let's flip this over, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna focus our glue on just this section here, okay? We're gonna get that glued down first, and then we can lift this whole thing up. It's gonna be, it's not gonna be tough. It's gonna be it's gonna feel a little weird at first, but it's okay. So let's get our glue going up to about here, going a little bit thicker around the sides, because I need some time to work on these little details. And I'm just gonna do little dots here, and then I'm gonna flatten this out with my finger in any little areas where maybe I have too much glue. Just do your best. Like so. And you can throw a couple of dots on these little stamens here. I'm going to hit those with my finger because I know that it's probably way too much glue. Okay, that's fine. All right, so now we'll get this laid out like this. And just hold this and just pick up. I'm looking at that rose there in the center again as my initial guide for placement. Just want to make sure I get that aligned first. Press that all into place, just like that. Okay, if you need to give it a little bit of a nudge, that's fine. And press that down. There we go, look at that. Okay, now these little stamen guys here, if for some reason we didn't get them all to hold, it's okay. We can go in and kind of clean that up. If there are any of these little stamen pieces here that are not sitting completely flush, you can always just use this little painting method where we just take a little bit of glue, just pop it right under there and then press that down. Okay, and that's totally normal. This is a lot of surface area to cover with a lot of little details, and that's okay. Okay, so that looks great, and we've got it lined up pretty much spot on. Again, if you have any little loose areas, like I think this little area here, maybe didn't get enough glue, I'll just lift that up and just throw a little extra glue right there, and that's fine. All right, so now we have the top third of this lined up, which means that we can now take this and just kind of peel it back, and I would focus mostly getting your glue around the perimeter, okay? And then we'll do a few little dots along the inside. Get up there as far as you can. And then just go ahead and there are some areas here where you need to be careful where you place your glue, okay? So I would kind of bring it down a little bit, just take a look. Now obviously you don't want to put any glue here, so we can throw a couple dots here. And this is another reason why we're doing it this way, just to make sure that we know exactly where we can and can't put glue. Around the perimeter of the rose, just a few little dots. This whole flower here can get a little dot. Okay, we can put some around the perimeter here. Just a few little dots, kind of press that down. Okay, and then this little daisy here can use a couple dots. Gotta be careful. And I think that's gonna be good. Okay, and again, we can always go back in and paint a little extra glue in some of the little spots where we might have missed it. I don't want to try to get everything in one fell swoop because it's just going to end in disaster. Okay, so like for example here, let me grab a scrap and just throw a little bit of glue on there. I'm just going to start here, right here on the rose. Throw a little glue there, bam, done. And this flower needs a little glue here. Bam, done. Need a little bit there. So, you know, this is one of those things where you have all these little details and there's no way you're going to get glue on every single inch of this in one fell swoop. It's just not going to happen. So just take our time. This little guy here is kind of loose. Paint a little glue on him. Put him down. There we go. Okay, cool. So that looks great. Making good progress here. All right, good. So now I can go ahead and close this up and take this and fold this over, and then we're going to close it up like this. So I just need to put a little bit of glue on this tab here, just like we did when we put the first section together. Oops. Spread that glue out to the very edge of the tab, like that. I can actually put this down. Well, you know what? I'm going to do this in the air. And just connect it like that. Make sure it's nice and lined up on both sides, nice and centered. And as soon as we have the placement, you can take and pop that down, and press down. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, should be able to fold it the other way as well. There we go. Now let's take a look here. There we go. Look at that. Okay, so what I'm noticing here is this little area here just didn't get enough glue. So I will clean that up by just tucking a little bit of glue right here. And I'll pull this out. So you can just do this flat and press down right there. Okay, but for the most part, everything is nice and solid. Look at the beautiful design on that. Okay, so all that leaves now is a few overlays. Okay, and I'm gonna take and probably, you can do some inking on these. Good. So let's have some fun inking here. Let me grab my applicators. Okay, so with this guy here, I like this this reddish orange for that. And I already have a pad. I try to use these little pads here as much as possible. Sometimes they get a little wispy. I'll just take a scissor and just cut them off, because they tend to kind of get ink in places where I don't want it. Okay, so I'm just gonna hit some of these with a little bit of ink just around the edges, just to give them a little extra dimension and interest. And of course, if you want, you can even add a little bit of bling to some of the flowers here as well. There's no harm in doing that. Okay, we'll flip this one over. Oh, and also the cool thing about this is this little center part, we do have the word mom going there. Oh wait, it doesn't go there. That one's gonna go here. It does say mom, but the cool thing is you can customize that with anything, really. Congratulations, happy birthday. You may need to get rid of these, but you know, it's okay. It's not a big deal. All right, let me find my pink applicator if I have one. I don't think I do. And we'll throw a little pink on this one. And with this, I think I'm just gonna keep the ink on the actual flower part and not on the edge. Just hit that with a little bit of pink. Like that. All sorts of stuff going on outside today. I don't know if you heard earlier, you could actually hear Peyton crying. I think the family was outside doing something and he was upset. But he is doing great. It's been a while since I posted a picture of him. I think we're overdue for that, so I might have to do that soon. Here we go. So that one's gonna go there. And then we have this little guy. It's gonna go right here. And I'm gonna hit him with a little bit of purple. There's my purple applicator. You can just have fun with this. We're pretty much on the final stretch here. Beautiful little box. And the cool thing is that your machine's doing all the work with all these beautiful details. Okay, throw a little glue on there. And that little guy is going to go right there. Get that nice and lined up. Layer upon layer upon layer of, let's see here, what am I doing? Yeah, so these guys, these last two, this little star-shaped guy, it's going to go right here. I think I'm just going to glue him down flat, hit him with a little bit of purple. But anyway, you get the point here. As far as the inking, the rest of it's pretty self-explanatory. You know where everything's going to go. Okay. And that's really going to do it. Again, there are a few flowers here that have some centers that will be perfect for you to get out your bling and maybe add a rhinestone or a pearl, whatever you want to add. Would look wonderful. We've got one more here, and then of course the cherry on top is going to be putting our mom caption in place. Let's see, this one here, I think I'm gonna train this one out, give it a little bit of life, and make this one kind of pop out. You don't have to. You can glue everything down flat if that's what you want to do. Totally fine with me. But this one here, I can take this and just kind of curl it in my fingers and then give it a little twirl like that, just to raise those petals up a tiny bit. And then we can just throw a little dot of glue right in the center of it and just pop that right into place. It's okay if that little bit of white is showing through. That's what makes it lovely. Oh, I have a pink flower left yet. Oh, there's another purple one too, but you get the idea here. So if you're savvy enough, like I mentioned, you can absolutely bring this into your cutting software and well, you can omit that using, like in the Cricut world, in Design Space, you would do a contour to get rid of that. And let's see, where is that one going? No, that one's going right here. So you can take this one again and kind of twirl the petals, just lift them up a little bit. You can fold them, twirl them between your fingers, elevate them a little bit, and just a little bit of glue around that little hole in the center, and just match that up. Great place for a little rhinestone. Just match up the petals as well. Here we go. One more purple guy here. There we go. And that one's going to go right there. This one we can also kind of lift up, give it some extra dimension. Notice with the purple, I've got to hit this a little bit lighter to get the look that I'm looking for. But this is all extracurricular stuff here as far as the inking. So as far as the assembly goes, there's really not much left to do, minus putting the mom caption in place. And of course, for our UK people, we have a mum version as well. So just make sure that you're cutting that out. If you needed to say mum, there we go. And just kind of give that a little curl, or just fold the petals up. And a dot of glue will do. Match that up with the existing petals. Press down. Get that nice and centered and aligned. There we go. Beautiful. All right, finally, Mommy. Where you go, Mom? My mom just left to go back to Ohio today. Sad. I could tell she was really enjoying her time with our new son, Mr. Peyton. We call him Billy Beans. He's got a lot of little nicknames, pet names. He is the cutest little boy. I don't know what he's going to end up being or what he's going to do. We'll see. Maybe he'll be a paper crafter. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. So there's Mom. Throw a few dots of glue on the back of this little caption and call it a day. Here we go. You'll notice that we do have a set of little markers there to help you with the positioning of the caption, just to make sure it's nice and centered, properly aligned. All right, so there is our beautiful box ready to go. And it's going to do, I'm trying to get it to hit the gold foil on there. There you go. Beautiful. So much detail, so vibrant and colorful. Mom's going to absolutely love it. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please take a moment, visit us on our YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. While you're there, hit the little bell so you get notifications anytime we release a new product, whether it be paid or free. And if you make this or anything from our latest bundle, I'd love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So head over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Official. That's where you'll find myself and over 40,000 other dreamers that inspire us daily. So that's gonna do it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, I look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos. And also, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section, where we have over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly videos. I look forward to crafting with you soon.